Okay, so this part of the video is talking about how to get the new double ribbed piece back on. So first thing is the service bulletin says you need to change that wheel center screen. So that's the replacement part. The old one looks like this. See how it's smooth? So you need to change that. You need to change the bracket that wheel is sitting on. The replacement part looks like this, which is exactly what's already there, so I'm not sure what the difference is. I tried connecting the brand new wheel to this and the one that's currently in the engine mount, and there was no wobbling, and so I was like, okay, why am I gonna go to all that effort to take those 3 screws out, pull the old one out, put this one back in? It just seemed a lot more complicated. So that's 2 parts, the wheel, that bracket, and then they say the 4th thing is this guy right down here. That is the tensioner pulley for the supercharger, right? Don't mistake that for the accessory drive tensioner pulley. This is the supercharger one. You can see those ribs on the actual wheel. They're very small and it feels really smooth. You're supposed to replace that wheel and that bracket holding it for this repair. When I looked up the part, researched it, it was smooth. So I was like, okay, why do I need to change that whole thing? The old belt, you'll see right here. And what you'll notice, let me see if I can get it in focus, is, it can't really, I'm not gonna grab it right now, but the ribbed part actually contacts that part. So I was like, okay, if this wheel, this is the original one, is working with a ribbed belt, why do I need to change it if the replacement part is also the same thing as this? So I did not follow the service bulletin in changing that part. To get to there, there's a screw all the way down there, and you'll see there's a pipe right there in front of it. And then you got to take out this whole radiator from all my research to get to it. So it just seemed like a lot more work. Wasn't sure why you had to do it. The other thing is this, here's the double ribbed. I got this from Moss Motors. I just typed in the part from All Data Do It Yourself and found it on Moss Motors. That's where I found it. Before I put this double ribbed belt on, you can see it's ribbed up top there, and you can see on the other side it's also ribbed. I compared the two with that, so I made sure it was the same length. Okay, I wanted to make sure that this thing wasn't too small or too big before I put it on. The hardest thing about putting this belt on was actually getting it, on this wheel. So that you should start with this wheel, the tensioner pulley. So Jaguar forums, I saw one guy, what he wrote is see where I have center screen here? You have the tensioner pulley right there, and then there's an accessory drive pulley over there. Center screen, there's a very tiny clearance there. I took WD-40, sprayed that area right there, and then I was able to take this belt and just move it in that gap like floss. So WD-40 in that area there, and I was able to get it on. You actually, let's see, okay, look on the belt here. See how like this lateral edge of the belt, like facing me, not that part, but this part, see how it's dry? You can actually see down here where it's kind of darker. That's kind of where I sprayed some of the WD-40 to make it lubricant enough to, for lubrication to get it through that spot. Then it's got to go through that wheel, the bottom. I used a mirror and put it down right in that clearance there to make sure that that belt was contacting that wheel properly. And as you can see, it comes up over here. So you make sure it's contacting well. Then it comes up here. Here's your, so see how it's coming up top of that wheel? Then it comes on your idler pulley up top here. And then it comes up here. So really, you've got zoom out. You've got a system that looks like this. You got a top wheel there. You got a tensioner pulley down here. You got this big wheel here. And then kind of in the center here, the 4th wheel, with my fingers moving here, that's your idler pulley. So it goes here, to there, comes back up, loops around. So it kind of makes this like V shape. All right, so put it on that wheel, then put it on the big one, then put it on the idler pulley, then get your tensioner bar, okay, right there. Connect it there, pull the tensioner pulley to the right. That gives you the slack so you can get it on this final wheel. And then of course, you know, make sure everything's lined up. And yeah.